Hello, everybody. Today we are here with Jeff and Carmen. This is a two-person call, which is awesome because it's the first time there's been two other people there. What's up, guys?
Hey. How you doing, Jack?
I'm doing really well. So,
yeah,
you said that you guys wanted to do some questions, right?
Yes. We started doing, selling on eBay, and our success was due to your course, which was pretty detailed. And it took us to the next level. We started a basic store, and, we have been selling.
Mm-hmm.
So we ran into a few problems, like we did some drop shipping. And if you've noticed, if you get an order from Puerto Rico, Guam, or Virgin Islands, that's not international, so you can't do the GSP.
Yeah, can't ship there.
The Walmart, Home Depot, and the rest won't ship the product to those territories. So it becomes a little bit...
Did you figure out how to fix that?
Yeah, we came up with a quick fix. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was the best fix. What we do is we have the retail stores send us the items to our house, and then we repackage it and then ship there. But then the problem is we just didn't know how to actually have that on the listing so that the customer can actually pay for the shipping cost.
Yeah, so you can disable people from being able to purchase from your items if they're in it's called US Protectoraates. So you have to opt into something called business policies on eBay.
Yeah.
So you go to you have to go to Google and then you search for eBay business policies and then you opt in. And once you've opted in, then you can change a setting in your shipping policy. And then you won't get any orders to Puerto Rico or Guam or any of those places.
Okay, question. If we wanted to ship there, is it an easier way to ship there?
So you can do what you're doing where you get the package sent to you, but then you're going to have, like, if you're willing to pay that shipping cost because you get it shipped to you and then you have to pay to ship it to Guam, you can do that, and there's going to be less people doing that. Just because you have to pay for the shipping, so it makes the cost of the item much, much more expensive, right? But you can do that as long as you're actually communicating properly about how long the item is going to take for the buyer to receive it. Then there's nothing wrong with selling into those countries if you are able to actually physically ship the items yourself.
But then how do we differentiate, the shipping costs between customers in the U.S. and the customers out there in the...
You'd have to have it in your, in the shipping policy, kind of. It's a good point because it's a kind of a special circumstance.
Because we don't want to charge anyone down here in the U.S. We try to find, everything to make it a free shipping.
Yeah, so eBay's, I think at the moment you can't do both, but eBay's changing how they do their shipping policy, and that's like upcoming changes over the next couple months. So that's gonna make it so you have more control over the shipping policies of where your item goes. Because in this scenario, you can't offer free shipping to U.S. people and offer... Well, I guess you could offer alternative international shipping. You might actually be able to offer both. It's possible. I'm not sure. I've never looked into that because most of the time dropshippers just completely avoid it because they don't want to ship it to their house and then ship it out. So they just try and make that never happen.
All right. Well, there's another thing that you talked about on the course was the GSP shipping, right? We read a lot of reviews that were pretty negative about the Kentucky warehouse. So we were like, what's your idea? And they don't seem to be connected to eBay directly, because when you call eBay about anything to do with the Kentucky address, they refer you to them, like, go ahead and call them yourself.
It's a company called Pitney Bowes, which is like subcontracted by eBay. So it's not a part of eBay. It's a separate company. But honestly, if you look online, there's tons of eBay sellers in general griping about stuff. That's very common. You can expect that people are going to complain about everything, and that most of the information that you see is going to be very pessimistic. GSP is a very good example of this, because a lot of the stuff online has these horror stories about like things that went wrong, why you shouldn't offer it, and when you actually offer it, most of the time something goes wrong, it's covered by the warranty. So there are some situations where I've had to refund buyers, but nowhere near often enough to not offer GSP. GSP increases the size of my business by 20 to 40%, and that's big. That's a big difference that one setting can make. So I strongly encourage people to use GSP, just because it's more likely that something's going to go wrong with a domestic sale than a GSP sale. International customers are just less likely to return products. They're less likely to just complain about stuff. They're much more accepting than US buyers. US buyers are used to like free returns and quick shipping. We're very spoiled in that sense. So is there anything in specific about GSP that you read online that you were worried about, or?
It was just that a lot of customers, a lot of sellers say that their customers don't receive the product and they have to deal,
So if your customer doesn't receive the product and you shipped it, your customer gets fully refunded from eBay. You don't have to, like, that does happen, but when it happens, eBay covers you. You don't lose anything.
So us, as the sellers, do we have to contact eBay? Because the customer is going to come to us first.
Yeah,
for a quick resolution.
It's pretty common that you call eBay and then you're like, hey, this is a GSP case. Here's the return ID, and this item hasn't been updated in a week, and then they're going to refund it. Or if it just got damaged or it arrived and it was mismatched, there's a whole bunch of things that can go wrong, and then eBay fully refunds the case for you. So you still have to call eBay. So you have to learn what scenarios you close that way, but
yes,
it's absolutely an option. The only time you're going to get screwed is when you send something and it's defective, like defective or the wrong item. So say that it's like an electronic and it just doesn't work, then you're going to be liable to pay the return shipping or give a full refund. Whereas if it is physically broken in any way whatsoever, then you get refunded. It doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to worry about it. So you can literally send a China set of like glasses and cups and really fragile stuff. You can send that GSP and have absolutely no worries about it, because when it breaks, you're going to get fully refunded and you get to keep the proceeds from the sale, and the eBay just refunds the seller, or the buyer actually. So it's like, it makes it more smooth than regular domestic sales. Like, I have more problems with domestic sales than international sales by far. There are very few occasions that I have problems with GSP sales.
Oh, thank you.
All right, other question. When we doing GSP and they ask for a reference number, where do we get that reference number from?
When you sell the item on eBay, it's going to show you a sales record of that item, and that's going to have the reference number. It's the same, like, normally if it's a domestic sale, then the sales record shows a US address. For a GSP sale, it's going to show the Kentucky address, or which is like 1850 or something Exchange Boulevard in Erlanger, and then that reference number is going to be different. That reference number is actually just the backup for your package. You can ship something to the address without the reference number, and it'll still get forwarded as long as you provide the tracking number once the item has shipped out. The tracking number is going to be the first thing that eBay uses to identify your package. So if there's a problem with that, then they're going to use that reference number. But say that you mess the reference number up or you forget it, as long as you upload tracking, it's not going to matter.
And is there an extra cost for GSP shipping?
Yes, but it is completely separate from you. You get the amount for your listing, The buyer pays the extra amount to eBay, and eBay charges them when the item ships. So that part happens separately from you, and you won't even know how much they paid for shipping unless you specifically look into it.
Oh, that's pretty good.
All right. The other question we had is about, was it bulk?
Bulk posting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know you have a video showing how to do that, you know, the host tab. The thing is, I just wasn't too comfortable with the pricing and all that. Like, how do you control that on Hydra Lister? You use Hydra Lister, right?
Yeah, for my bulk posting, I use Hydra Lister. But that's actually changed now. So now everything's done with just in-house software. It's stuff that my kind of like one of my business partners made. So we don't actually use a commercial product anymore. But back when I was using the commercial product for bulk, I was using Hydra Lister. However, it's important to understand that the reason I was able to do what I do with bulk posting is because I have a YouTube channel. It's because I'm able to monetize just kind of attention by doing ridiculous things drop shipping. You can't just bulk dropship and expect to be profitable. It's really, really important that you understand that bulk can be used as a tool, but ultimately profitability comes from understanding the market and knowing how to use research tools to identify listings that are selling and investing your time in them, and also having virtual assistants. Virtual assistants is a really, really, really huge step. Once you have virtual assistants, it becomes exponentially easier to be profitable with dropshipping or whatever else you're doing. Most of the time, dropshipping is just a stepping stone. It shouldn't be something that you rely on exclusively. It should be something that you do to kind of get used to and learn about and earn some money, but then you branch off into something else. And establishing virtual assistants just opens a whole new world up to you. The second that you can just send a text and then somebody's performing a task for you, it's mind-blowing how much that can change your life if you get into it. So I really, really encourage people to get into using virtual assistants. Even if you think that you're not ready or that it's not the time, you're always going to feel that way. So really, you should just try and get virtual assistants to be posting items and then just deal with the customer service stuff yourself.
Okay, yes, we actually did talk about that because, okay, here's what happened. Before we actually started drop shipping, we were going to go with Amazon, FBA. Mm-hmm. That was our main goal. But then the products that we wanted to create and sell cost way more than we could afford at that time. So we just wanted to do drop shipping at first. We thought it was something else. I mean, until we started, so we started to do that and actually invest our money that we already had, make a few, dollars here and here while still saving and, start selling our own products. So we did talk about the virtual assistants and all that, but we said, maybe dropshipping is still a good idea. We can do both, but we need to learn the business, the in and outs of the business. So when we have the virtual assistants, we can know what to expect and what not to expect. Kind of help us with the delegation and things like that.
Yeah. So
it's something that we did talk about, and we looked into. There's a website. It's called something. I think I have the address on my computer here, but it's in the Philippines, I think.
Oh, onlinejobs.ph.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Uh-huh. So we actually did look into that.
That's good. I encourage you to keep thinking that way because it used to be with dropshipping that you didn't want to get a virtual assistant straight away. You wanted to really learn it and that kind of thing, but nowadays, I personally think that it's competitive enough that if you want to be successful, then really the first step should be establishing a team of virtual assistants, where even if all they're doing is posting items, then you're dealing with the rest. At least what you can be doing is making the list of items that they then post. You figure out that kind of more thought-provoking stuff and then have the VA just do the boring, tedious part of posting. Because ultimately what determines if you're going to be successful is your ability to just kind of stay in the game and keep going and keep learning. So a lot of that has to do with how motivated you are, and if you're getting better results, then you're gonna, obviously be more likely to continue. And yes. I personally believe that you can start from the beginning, not know anything about it, and it's still a better decision to try and learn about virtual assistants and get experience with virtual assistants right at the beginning. I don't think that it makes sense to wait until you really know what's going on. But honestly, ultimately, virtual assistants is the turning point. That's definitely the point for most people, that it enables them to take much more control. And it is good that if you're interested in FBA, eBay is a great starting point, because you can build capital. You can have cash flow established with eBay and then use that to get into FBA, which is FBA is a more reliable long-term kind of thing. It's something that's quite common with people to retire and all that kind of stuff.
That's good. Now, on the topic of virtual assistant, how many do you recommend that we start with? And what's one,
just
two?
One to post items. That's it. You don't need to worry about the customer service or anything. You just need to get used to the fact. You need to get used to the task of delegating something to another person, who then goes through and posts the items. You need to get more experience doing that.
So how do we train them? That's the thing, to actually, do the pricing, the images, things like that. How do we set?
You've pretty much got two choices. You can train somebody and pay them less, or you can find somebody who already has experience. The reality is that it seems like it'd be complicated to train somebody, but it's a very specific task of doing title optimization and getting, you do need to establish what you're going to do and then have them do it. But I personally believe that you will progress faster if you just try and teach them anyway, and then you go through the troubles and hardships and learning. You're going to go through different VAs. You're not going to like some. You're going to like others. The reality is, there's a whole lot you got to get through anyway, even before you can, even if you know exactly what the VA needs to be doing. There's stuff that needs to happen before that can be a reality of that's the work that they're doing. And you not knowing exactly what they need to do is kind of irrelevant until you get to the point where you've trained them and you know how to do that, right? Because you got to learn that anyway. So in my opinion, it's better to try and learn it specifically so that you can teach a VA to do it. And honestly, with my VA, I just make YouTube videos, and then I upload them to YouTube, and I put them as private. And then I have a sheet in Google, and then he just looks at it and looks at the video and then asks me questions, and I make another video if he has more questions.
All right, that's pretty good. So another question that I did have, we didn't talk about this though. We have a basic store, about 100 items, and what do you recommend? Because I was telling Carmen that we need to go in more oftenly and kind of, check stuff out, put new stuff in, just be on the lookout for that, and then focus on the things that we are selling. Mm-hmm. So the question here was, how do we do the market research to actually know what eBay buyers want?
So there's a couple different options that you have. It's important to understand that with my YouTube channel, the way that I do bulk as product research. So I start the posting process, and then based on those results, that's how I learn about the market. That's not what most people would want to do. Most of the time you want to use some kind of product research tool. So there's two main forms that these tools can take. They are snipers or marketplace research. A marketplace research tool shows you what's selling. It shows you what categories are selling, what other people are selling. It gives you that data. Whereas a sniping tool is when you put in a person's store name and then you just get a list of every item that they've sold. And so a lot of people, that is how they pick what to sell. They just look at what other people are selling, and they find items that have sold at least 3 times or 4 times, and then they just post those items.
So what do you recommend out of those two tools, the market research tool or the sniper tool?
It really depends. Both are completely lucrative if you do them properly. There's a way to do each well, and just because you do one doesn't mean you can't do the other, if that makes sense. It's more about kind of what you enjoy doing, really, because like if it fits into your lifestyle to just do product research and you enjoy that, then it makes sense for you to incorporate that into your dropshipping process. Whereas if you don't like doing product research, you really are bored by that, and you just want a list of items to post, then maybe sniping is better because you just have to like find stuff that other people are already selling. It's pretty simple, right? You don't have to kind of think about it too much. But so there's a tool for analytics called ZikAnalytics. I have a video recently with the creator of that, and we're going to do a tour showing like how to use it, but I haven't done any content showing how to use it, so at the moment I can just tell you that it exists. But ZikAnalytics is a market research tool. There's another tool called SniperPop. It's just SNIPERPOP, and that allows you put in the name of an eBay seller, and then it exports all of the item URLs related to items that they've sold. So it doesn't just tell you what they've sold, it literally just gives you the URLs of the products that they've sold if it was able to find them. So you may find that somebody sold like 2,000 items, and if you know that they're a drop shipper, then you can just run this program through and it'll give you all of the URLs of the items that they've sold, and then you can just post those URLs.
That's pretty good. So, yeah, you will have videos coming up on YouTube, right, about these tools pretty soon?
Yeah, with Zik. My goal is kind of to do videos about pretty much every piece of software that's available. Obviously, that takes a while. And sometimes, like, I'm trying now, because the YouTube channel is easier, people are more willing to work with me. So I'm trying to interview the creators, because for me, it's really fascinating to learn about the people behind the dropshipping tools and what happened in their lives, how they heard about dropshipping, all that kind of stuff. It's cool for me to be able to like kind of take a step back and then see the bigger picture. And also because I'm now involved with software, it's really advantageous for me to be really aware of what everyone else is doing, because then I can see how like the stuff that I'm doing can fit into that. So that's, yeah. I will be doing videos.
Pretty good. Did you have a question?
I think that's about it.
Okay, the pricing. I noticed that people really don't care about how much a product costs. We've done some tests with that, and we'll look up, what other buyers have, and we'll say, you know what, we'll add $25 to it, and we end up selling those products. So I was like, what's the ideal pricing? Well, is it 15, 20%, 10%? What would you do for that kind of store, basic?
Yeah, again, this boils down to what your strategy is. There is no kind of, okay, I guess a generic learning pricing would be 1.4. You take the price to acquire the item, which is the cost plus shipping, and then you multiply it by 1.4. That's just a number that you can use to make sure that you're probably not going to lose money if you get a sale. But ultimately, pricing is very dynamic. It's something that really depends on what you are trying to do with your specific business model. For example, you can find a lot of bulk stores on eBay that I don't know anything about how these bulk stores are run, but you can find bulk stores with like 500, 6,000 items, and their margins are insane, and they live literally off of just these really high margins. And then there are some other people who have like 60 or 70 items, and they're selling as much as somebody with like 100,000 items. So it really depends on your strategy and like what's important. I can share some metrics about my business. So I have 100,000 items posted. A lot of people are intimidated by this because it's a really big number. But the reality is I work for 30 or 45 minutes a day, and that's it. And like it's funny that I can explain that I don't work much, but people still don't. They hear the big number, and then they think that it means work all day, even though I'm saying that that's not the case, right? But I still, my point here is that numbers alone don't really tell you anything. You don't know anything about the business unless you know what its goal is, how it's functioning, where it's making its money. Because you can focus on the front end. You can focus on having sales that are profitable, right? You can earn money that way. Or you can have a business that literally loses money on sales and then earns money on the back end. That's something that people do. And I now understand that I know this person who is able to sell items from Walmart. He's able to sell them on eBay for the same price that Walmart sells them and earn money from that process. Like, it's crazy. It's just there's a lot to it, and there's always so much more to learn. And as long as you keep learning and keep applying yourself, then it's not a matter of like if you can make it work. It's just a matter of if you're going to do what's necessary to make that happen. It's not an uncertainty thing. It's just you either do it or you don't thing.
All right. I think I'm done with questions. You got any others?
No, if I keep asking you questions, we'll be here the whole night. So what I'll do is we'll work on those answers that you gave us, and then we'll keep doing, what we do, and, keep improving, get a VA, and then we'll schedule another appointment, and we'll tell you how we're doing. Awesome. We'll just keep, going from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this. This is so the times available are probably gonna change, because right now I have like a slot in the morning and then a slot at the end of the day, and I'm probably just gonna make them all at once so I can do like 2 or 3 in a couple hours instead of waiting all day to do them. But aside from that, like, I'm gonna keep having these available probably for the next couple of years, because it works really well for my YouTube channel. Because I don't really have to think about making videos. I just do these calls and then post the calls. And then it's about other people, which is important to me, because I want my YouTube channel to be about the community that it represents, not about like my opinion about stuff, because that's not really what it's about to me. So I'm really excited. So this is fun.
That's pretty good. And I'll ask another question before you go. I hope you don't mind, just maybe one. Thanks. Okay, now I noticed that posting items, it takes a long time, get the images, get them to the right size, the description, the, title, optimization, the pricing. It takes a long time. Is there another way to, do the same thing and not have to spend as much time on posting things?
Pretty much any listing suite. Now, it sounds like you're talking about manually posting an item.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Now there's tons of listing suites that are available. So they just allow, you just find the URL and then paste the URL, and then it does all of that for you. So all that you have to do is like optimize the title. But that's pretty much it. Everything else, it grabs the photos, it resizes them if it needs to. There's a lot of software available now to do all of that pretty much. Like, just off the top of my head, DSM Tool does that. AutoDS does that. Hydra Lister and ScrewGrid does that. Pricematik does that. Infinii does that. Hustle Got Real does that. DS Genie does it. And then there's Priceyak. There's tons. So there absolutely are faster ways.
Okay, yes, you do talk about that in your videos, but you also had a reserve. You say, I really don't know about all these tools. You said that in a video. So I was like, what do you recommend? What have you used?
Yeah.
That you think was...
I've learned a lot more about what tools are available since making the course, and I still need to go through and like kind of revise the course. There's more videos that I need to add specifically about virtual assistants, and then also about the kind of availability of software, because When I made the course, there was less available. There was still some stuff available, but nowadays there's tons. Like I did a little bit of research yesterday, and there were like 34 different pieces of software specifically to dropshipping. And that's just off the top of my head. That's not even like actually taking the time to make sure that I find everything. So I need to add stuff into the course. That being said, when it comes to learning, I think that DSM Tool is a good option, because if you have less than 50 listings, it's free. And you also get repricing for that. So when you post the listings, there's also something checking to make sure that they're still in stock and that they're still priced properly, that kind of thing. Because it's free for less than 50, that's something that I really encourage people to get into, because a lot of people are never going to pass 50. So they can do it and try it and learn it without having to make a financial commitment. Once you get past that point, then you're going to have to start paying for software. And so then I personally use Hydra Lister, but I stopped using it, like I said. So now I use like proprietary software. I use software that was built by a friend of mine. So it's one thing that's important to understand is that there's lots of different options available, and depending on what you want to accomplish, there may be a best software, but there is no best software. Everybody's going to try and convince you that. They're going to convince you that what they're using is specifically the best, but you should only trust that if they've actually taken the time to try all of the options that are available. The reality is the vast majority of people have only tried 1, 2, or maybe 3 options when there's like 30. So, you can't just try 1 or 2 and then claim that you know which one is best, right?
Yeah, we tried Hydra Lister, and I just couldn't understand how to use it. And I looked up their videos on YouTube, and they're way complicated than the software itself. So I said, maybe I'll bring this to you so you can go through it again, like how to, post using it. Because on the course, it's
Hydra Lister is most useful for the kind of dropshipping that I do. I don't think of Hydra Lister as the best tool for somebody who's getting into dropshipping to do like an optimization business.
Yes.
Again, you should check out DSM Tool just because you can try it for free and then not have to worry about anything until you've passed 50 listings, right? Mm-hmm. That being said, there's other tools available, and really a lot of them are going to be more simple than Hydra Lister. And honestly, the people behind Hydra Lister are making another tool called Viking. And so there was some political stuff behind Hydra Lister and SkuGrid, and they split up, and there was some controversy. And the guy behind Hydra Lister, his name is George. He's making another tool called Viking. And George is somebody who I have a lot of respect for. And I haven't used the tool, but I know that he has a lot of integrity, which in like online e-commerce is kind of rare. Honestly, there's a lot of sketchiness about it. So somebody with integrity is unusual and valuable. And he also has a lot of experience in the industry. So I know that whatever he is making, this Viking thing, is going to be good because he's behind it and he has a lot of experience. He's been around since the beginning, and also he communicates with other software creators. He's aware of the industry. He's not just in a tunnel. So I know that that's going to be really good. But it's not out yet. I don't really know anything about it aside from that.
Right. Sounds good. Now, Jack, we really appreciate the time that you gave us today. I'm excited to actually talk to you. I never thought that this will happen, because I was telling her for way before to send you an email with all these questions, because I'm not just an email guy. I want to get the answer right then. And I think this is good. And, I actually encourage everyone else that watches it to, get into it and, talk to you.
Yeah, I love if I know that I can put the video on my channel, I'll talk about anything. I'm happy.
Yes, free to do that.
All right, guys. It was great to talk to you, and I hope to hear from you again, okay?
We'll keep you updated.
Awesome. Best of luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao.